Welcome to the Ben Mulroney Show on this Friday, June 13th, 2025. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope everybody's had a great week, and we're going to end it in style here on the Ben Mulroney Show. And I want to thank you, by the way, for joining us wherever we may find you, in the car, at the gym, at home. You may be watching us on YouTube now, on top of being on podcast platforms, on the radio, on streaming apps. We now, at the Ben Mulroney Show, have a YouTube channel, so you can enjoy the audio, you can enjoy the video, and you can enjoy us anywhere that you may be. So this was an attack that a lot of us expected. Some people hoped it would not happen. But Israel, in an attempt to do something that needed to be done, in my opinion, which is slow Iran's seemingly inevitable march towards obtaining a nuclear weapon, attacked in the early hours of Friday, attacked Iran by taking out their top military officers, hitting their nuclear research and missile strikes, and raising the potential for an all-out war in the region. That has been a concern since violence erupted on October 7th, 2023, when Hamas waged a genocidal attack on Israel. And ever since then, we've been wondering whether that localized conflict would spill over to a larger war in the region. And what happened in this what's called Operation Lion is nothing short of military brilliance yet again by the IDF. So they said about 200 aircraft were involved in the initial attack on 100 targets. Two security officials said that the country's Mossad spy agency was also able to position explosive drones inside of Iran in the days and weeks leading up to the attack. All they had to do was activate them, and they were already deep inside of Iran. They were able to hit Iran's main nuclear enrichment facility. They were able to hit a lot of top military targets. The Iranians killed by Israel were the commander-in-chief of the Revolutionary Guard, the former IRGC commander, a head of the Revolutionary Guard's aerospace force, the head of the IRGC's headquarters, and two nuclear scientists. So this is a significant blow to Iran in, as I said, their attempt to obtain a nuclear weapon. Some people are calling this an escalation. In my humble estimation, this is a de-escalation. You had to hit the people who want the bomb, because once they have it, they are more likely, I think, than anybody on the planet to use a nuclear weapon. Iran cannot get a nuclear weapon. And if nobody else was going to do it, Israel was going to do what they always do. If nobody comes to their aid, they were going to aid themselves. Here is Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu talking about Operation Rising Lion.
Moments ago, Israel launched Operation Rising Lion, a targeted military operation to roll back the Iranian threat to Israel's very survival. This operation will continue for as many days as it takes to remove this threat.
Good. I'm glad, because he continues and talks to us about how close Iran is to actually building a bomb.
For decades, the tyrants of Tehran have brazenly, openly called for Israel's destruction. They've backed up their genocidal rhetoric with a program to develop nuclear weapons. In recent years, Iran has produced enough highly enriched uranium for 9 atom bombs. 9. In recent months, Iran has taken steps that it has never taken before, steps to weaponize this enriched uranium. And if not stopped, Iran could produce a nuclear weapon in a very short time. It could be a year, it could be within a few months, less than a year.
And look, without Israel pushing the ball down the field, Iran would have a nuclear weapon already. In 2010, they unleashed something called the Stuxnet computer virus, which is widely believed to have been a virus that was built in collaboration between Israel and the U.S., and they somehow got it infiltrated into Iran's computer network, and it disrupted and destroyed Iranian centrifuges, which are essential to building building a nuclear bomb. They have been at this for years, either through intelligence gathering, through covert activity, or overt military action. And so this is something that needed to be done. that being said, Donald Trump in the United States have many cards to play in this scenario, in this environment. They are a staunch supporter of Israel. They want peace in that region. And that Donald Trump has been adamant about doing what he can on the diplomatic front at keeping Iran from getting a nuclear weapon. Despite that, they seem hell-bent on getting one. Here is what Donald Trump said on Truth Social this morning after the attacks. He said, I gave Iran a chance after chance to make a deal. I told them in the strongest of words to just do it. But no matter how hard they tried, no matter how close they go, they just couldn't get it done. I told them it would be much worse than anything they know, anticipated, or were told, that the United States make the best and most military lethal equipment anywhere in the world by far, and that Israel has a lot of it with much more to come. He goes on. He says, no more death, no more destruction. Just do it before it's too late. God bless you all. Warning them, give up on your dreams of a nuclear weapon, or things are going to get worse for you long before they get better. He's also sort of in a Donald Trump way, because that was, listen, he didn't want this to happen. He was urging Israel not to do this, but he said, after it happened, he said, well, I might as well go with the flow. 2 months ago, I gave Iran a 60-day ultimatum to make a deal. They should have done it. Today is day 61. I told them what to do, but they just couldn't get there. Now they have perhaps a second chance. And let's listen to what Donald Trump had to say before the attacks happened.
Mr. President, how imminent is an Israeli strike on Iran?
Well, I don't want to say imminent, but it looks like it's something that could very well happen. Look, it's very simple, not complicated. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. Other than that, I want them to be successful. I want them to be tremendous. We'll help them be successful. We'll trade with them. We'll do whatever is necessary. I stopped a war between India and Pakistan. And I stopped it with trade. I don't think I've ever seen a story written about it, but it was pretty cool. They were getting ready. Pakistan was their turn to hit, and eventually they're going to go nuclear. And I stopped it. I called I respect each leader greatly. I know them. And I spoke to them, and I talked about trade. I said, but you're not trading with us if you're going to go to war, if you're going to start throwing nuclear weapons around. And I said it to both of them, and they were both unbelievable, actually. They understood it exactly. They stopped. I stopped that war with phone calls.
So it's always about him, and he's always trying to position himself as the reason something good happened, right? But the New York Times, or rather the Wall Street Journal, tweeted out that President Trump told Israel not to strike Iran on Monday. That's per the Wall Street Journal. So he told them not to do it, and then they did it. And now he's saying he was part of it because it was day 61 of his ultimatum. So thank you, Donald Trump. Here is what our foreign minister, Anita Anand, had to say about all of this. Canada is closely following the escalation of tensions between Israel and Iran. Further action risks triggering a broader regional conflict with devastating consequences. De-escalation must be the priority. We urge all parties to refrain from actions that further destabilize the region. The protection of civilians must be paramount. Canada remains deeply concerned by the threat posed by Iran's nuclear and ballistic missile program. Yet again, it feels to me like the government in Ottawa is putting the cart before the horse. This is the issue is Iran's drive to getting a nuclear weapon. You want an unstable region? Let Iran get a nuclear weapon. The only way to stabilize the region, the only way to de-escalate, is to go after their nuclear program. That's the only way. That is the only language they understand, because the world that they live in is a world with no Jews. It is a world where Israel has been reduced to ash and rubble. We know it because they say it. It is as certain as the sun rising in the morning. And for our foreign minister to both sides this thing, I want moral clarity. I will take Donald Trump's moral clarity any day over this drivel. Any day over this, let's have it both ways. Let's de-escalate. Let's not. Come on. You got to take the world as it is, not as you want it to be. And the world that we live in is a world where there are enemies abound that want to destroy the only stable democracy in the Middle East. And it is our shame for not saying it with more fortitude. Thanks so much for watching the show. Now, if you enjoyed what you saw, hit that subscribe button so you never miss another episode of The Ben Mulroney Show.